All right, well, my Massillon Public Library clock says it's 11 a.m.
All right. Well, my manager says I need to start working. All right.
No, Mrs. Brandt's been working and working and working. I see all the Mr. Rogers things behind her. It's so exciting.
Yeah, I love Mr. Rogers. Do you guys know who Mr. Rogers is? Okay, so maybe, no, that's okay. I bet you know one of his puppets, his characters. That would be Daniel Tiger. And the Daniel Tiger has his own neighborhood program. But long before that, Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, had a program on PBS where Daniel Tiger is now. And it was called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So welcome to Massillon Public Library's neighborhood, I guess. This program is called Hello Neighbor, how to be a good neighbor. Even as kids, we can do that. So we are doing where am I at? As part of the One Book, One Community programs, all of the grown-ups in the area are reading the same book about Mr. Rogers' life. So they asked if we could do a children's program about Mr. Rogers, which was pretty easy because Mr. Rogers loved kids. He had a program on TV that was probably one of the first educational programs on TV for kids. And he usually talked about his neighborhood and the neighborhood of make-believe that he had. He had a lot of puppets. So we're going to talk about how we could be good neighbors and do a few crafts and put together a nice bag to give out to somebody in your neighborhood. So I'm going to show you, since a lot of you haven't seen Mr. Rogers' program, I'll show you just the beginning of how he started his program. He always came in the door and changed into, hi Kennedy, he changed out of his work clothes or his school clothes and put on his nice comfy cardigan, which I have on, and he changed into his tennis shoes. So this is only going to take a minute. I'm going to share my screen and show you. Here we go. This is Mr. Rogers.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
Watch my neighbor Art on the PBS Kids video app.
All right. So that's what's his program. And then he would take us to the land of make-believe, where he showed us a whole bunch of puppets that he had. And they talked about different things. And then sometimes Mr. Rogers would talk about some tough topics with kids. And he wasn't worried about talking down to him. He just talked right to you and told you all about tough things like divorce or poverty or racism, and just try to treat children with respect. So I just want to show you real quick, we do have some books at our library about Mr. Rogers that if you want to read more later. This is was written by Mr. Rogers. It's about a book about poetry, and we do have a poetry contest going on right now that kids can enter into their own poems. We have a couple. This is a biography. You guys know what a biography is? Yeah. It's a real story, real facts about a person. And then we have a couple videos. This is a new movie here by Tom Hanks about Mr. Rogers. So we'll keep those, that list of things, of those books at the library. If you want to borrow those, we can help you get them checked out or on hold. But you guys probably know this guy, maybe. You've seen Daniel Tiger. Well, Daniel Tiger was Mr. Rogers' very first puppet, was a tiger. And now he has his very own program on PBS, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, how to be a good neighbor. So if you got a bag from the library, you might, I think you guys all did. If not, you can use some of your materials from home. But if you want to pull out, there's a little handout there called 12 Ways to Be a Good Neighbor. Yep, there you have it. It's okay, you can read that later. But I thought, hey, why don't we write down, do you guys have any ideas of ways we could be a good neighbor? You can unmute if you want. Well, I also want to show you that we do have this little bingo card, kindness bingo, and it has some good ideas on there too of things you can do to be a good neighbor. But
yeah, go ahead.
Please and thank you.
Saying please and thank you to people. Boy, yeah, they love that. Grown-ups just love that. How about, it's really hard. You had an idea, Kennedy?
Yeah, a few days ago, my dad helped shovel our neighbor's driveway because she was too old to be out there doing her home.
Perfect, yeah. And it's going to get pretty cold out, so anything that you guys can do to help older people shovel, or you could help rake the leaves sometimes. Now, we want to be careful because we can't really go into people's houses. We want to, stay 6 feet apart. But we can surely do these things outside. We can say please and thank you. And what about just smiling or waving at somebody? I think grown-ups really like it when you guys get to do that because they love to see kids. I had an idea I saw on here, and it says offer to not walk your neighbor's dog, or this is easy when it's nice out. You can take your sidewalk chalk and draw some pictures on your sidewalk that say hi, or you have a great day, and maybe put like a rainbow or some pictures on there. Is there anybody else that has an idea of how to be a good neighbor? Well, what if we made little neighbor bags to hand out to our neighbors? You could just leave them right on their porch for them to discover as a little surprise. So in your bag, I have given you another bag, a bag in a bag, and you can use this and fill it up with things to make a neighbor bag. Inside your bag, there's a little tag called "We've Been Loved." So that's what your bag is going to be. It's going to be a little surprise, and they're going to see it. You put it out on a neighbor's porch, and then when they open it up, they'll say, oh, "We've been loved," and we'll fill it up with some nice treats. Let's see what I want to say. You could use your, everybody has like a little kit in there to make a Valentine and a card. You could fill it up with some Valentines. Oh, I forgot to say though, who is your neighbor? Is it just the people that live right next door to you? Yeah, it could be them, but it doesn't have to be, right? It could be the people that live across the street. It could be somebody that you know that doesn't even live near you, but they might be a little lonely, maybe, or maybe my neighbor across the street, he lost his dog. He always walked his dog, and he lost his dog, and he's a little sad about that. So I think I'm going to make, we'll see, I'm going to make a little bag and fill it up to make it, try and brighten up his day and maybe make him smile a little bit. He's a little grumpy. But it could be somebody that you know at your church or your school, somebody, and you could give them a little surprise bag that we've been.
Ago in CCD, they were talking about like neighbors, like it could be a random person off the street.
Yeah, well, everybody that we live with in our towns, they could be our neighbors, which would be, you know, like a random person. You're saying maybe we could do a random act of kindness, and that's where you could be nice to somebody or smile at them too. But if you wanted to leave this on their porch, you could fill up their bag. Oh, let me show you what I have, some ideas to fill up the bag with.
These are my Valentines for my school.
Oh yeah, you could use some of the Valentines that you got for school.
I have way more of these left.
I thought I would put in, now what if somebody is not feeling well and they have to stay inside their house for a few days? Oh, I thought maybe I'd put a little bit of Gatorade in there for them to drink, or some hot chocolate. And then they might need some snacks that they don't have to cook because they're not feeling well. So some crackers. And because I love chocolate, I think they would probably love chocolate too, right? Maybe some Valentine chocolate, or some goldfish. And you can put that in the bag. And I'm going to add this. This is in your bag too. Now, you can slip it in the bag, or we can add them to our door hangers. Those are in your bag, supply bag.
Mommy, I need your help.
So in your supply bag, there are some door hangers like this that you can use. That's right. If you don't have one of these, it's easy.
Mrs. Brandt, your sound went out. So I don't know if Mrs. Brandt can hear me, but her sound has gone out and I don't know why, but she's talking about.
And then this just, yes, Mrs. Klein.
Yeah, your sound went out. So I think you were talking about maybe cutting these out yourself if you didn't receive any.
I did, yes. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. Yes, if you didn't receive them, you could just cut a rectangle piece of paper, cut a little slit in it, kind of sideways there, and cut out a hole. And then these just go right on the door. What would I put on it? Well, on mine, I drew a picture on one side. It says, "I'm so glad we're friends," or "we're neighbors," or "friends." And on the other side, I added my "hello neighbor," and I left my information in case they needed anything. Now I do want to say, let's be careful. Let's only do this with a grown-up at your house, because if you want to give out your information, your phone number, your name, you only want to give out what your grown-ups agree to. Okay, so maybe you would want to give your parents' number. Let them know and help fill this out. But you could leave your home phone number, and it says if you have to stay inside, this is if they're quarantining because of being ill or exposed, then you might say, "Our family is willing to go out and pick up some groceries for you," or I might do. Say again. Okay, or we can make a friendly phone call and check on you. Okay, or whatever they might need. So then I attach that to the other side, then you just hang this on their door. You could leave them a little bag of treats if you like. You should actually have 2 bags now to use. Right, so that, and then you could add in your Valentines. Well, you talked about neighbors not being right next door to us. This could be anywhere in town. So we went on a tour of the Massillon Public Library's neighbors, and that's kind of something that Mr. Rogers would do. So I wanted to read just 2 pages, I promise, from this book called Hello Neighbor, The Kind and Caring World of Mr. Rogers by Matthew Cordell. And then we're going to take you on a tour. So in his show, he would take us on tours sometimes of the crayon factory, the trumpet factory, the sneaker factory, and show us how things were made. This says, Fred realized that kids were naturally curious about the world around them. So, as Mr. Rogers, he often took us out of his home to meet new people and discover new places. We found out how people make things and how workers do their jobs. We even met famous artists in the neighborhood like Eric Carle. Eric Carle wrote The Very Hungry Caterpillar, Yo-Yo Ma and his cello, and Margaret Hamilton, who was the Wicked Witch of the West in Wizard of Oz. And each day in the neighborhood, we spent some time pretending when the trolley took us from Fred's television house to the land of make-believe. So I'm going to show you our screen right now. We went on a little tour, Mrs. Klein and I, of the neighborhood around Massillon. And while I'm doing that, if you want to work on your door hangers, if you want to draw some pictures on there, or work on your Valentine, you can certainly do that. Yep, you're doing your Valentines.
And also, I wanted to say if you could put into the chat how many children and how many grown-ups are with you today, so we can count that for our statistics. I would appreciate that. And while Mrs. Brandt's getting that ready, we really had fun going around to our neighbors.
The Key Smart check.
And it was just really nice. Even though we were wearing masks, we could still tell when people were smiling because we were looking at their eyes.
Minimum balance requirements means you have more power to spend how you want, which makes sense. The thing is, it's your money and all. Introducing Key Smart.
Okay, that did not work. Sorry about that. But here, I will just show you. Welcome to Massillon Public Library's neighborhood. So Massillon Public Library, you guys have probably all been there. We are located downtown on Lincoln Way and 2nd Street. So we just walked out of our doors and took a right and walked down Lincoln Way. And we came across the Root Vegan and Gluten-Free Cafe, first of all. And that's where we met Jim. And it smelled really good in there. So they were making all sorts of sandwiches and cookies and bakery stuff. Everything was dairy-free, gluten-free, and vegan. So no meat. And it looked really good. Then we took a little walk further to Duncan Jewelers featuring Art Gem. And this Duncan Jewelers started in 1897. 124 years they've been running. So it's pretty cool. So we ran into Brooke there, and she showed us their cash register, which was a 1914 cash register. They've been using that same cash register for over 100 years. It was cool. They have art supplies there, they have jewelry, and they have classes to do arts and crafts. Then we took a little walk across the street to Smiley's, and they sell delicious in there. And Mike showed us all their pizzas that they were making. I think there's Mr. Smiley back there by my hand.
Me and my mom are going to Smiley's for lunch today.
Oh, awesome. Well, tell them hello. They said they loved the library, so that was pretty fun for us. It smelled delicious. And then we walked a little bit further to another restaurant called the Sugar Bowl, and they've been around Massillon a long time, 80 years or so, is that? I think, a long time. And they had ice cream and homemade candy and chocolates there. Oh,
Hot dogs.
and hot dogs. Are they famous for hot dogs, Coney dogs?
I think they're famous for Coney dogs.
Okay. You recommend that.
Yeah.
I recommend all those candies and ice cream that Jessica showed us. But then we went down to the Massa Museum on Lincoln Way and First Street, and Mr. Brandon showed us around there. Did you know that they have a skeleton in their basement? Does anybody know the name of that skeleton? I bet you do.
Oscar.
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 I was at a birthday party there.
You did? That sounds cool. Wow. Oscar the friendly skeleton. I think he's nice, right? He's always been nice to me. And Brandon's.
Limits right now.
And then we got so cold that we went down to our neighbors, the Tremont Coffee Company, and Quentin and Liz there, hi, they helped make us some warm drinks on a very cold day. Then we made our way back to the library. So that's our neighborhood. I bet you have a lot of cool places in your neighborhood that you could see. Maybe you even live downtown, who knows? Okay, now you're back to me. Well, I do want to show you our next way. One way that we could help right now in these times this year is to help us stay safe for our neighbors is to wear a mask so that we aren't spreading any germs and we can help keep our whole community safe. So in your bag, that's my Pizza Cat mask. In your bag, there should be a packet, and it has, and you can do this later if you want. I'm going to show you how to do it. It has a mask inside and some highlighters and some rubber bands. And I left the instructions in case you want to do it later. You just take your mask out and you can take some rubber bands. It's going to be a little hard to show you here, but you can scrunch it up with a fork. You can take a fork and put it on there and turn it until it's all scrunched like this. And put your rubber bands on. And that's how we're going to put colors on. Or you can fold it like a fan, back and forth, fold it up till it's little. And that will make stripes, tie-dye stripes. So we're going to try and make a tie-dye mask like that. So once you put your rubber bands on, I put like little, I just pulled up little bits of my mask like this, like a little ghost. Oops. And then I put a rubber band on it. Then I took my highlighters. I picked a color and I started coloring that little spot to my little ghost kind of thing. I started putting some color on there, and you want to make sure to cover everything unless you want to leave a little bit of white showing. That's okay too. I did. And just color it wherever you like. You can make some random colors. You might want to make sure that you color your ear loops, the ear bands. And once you've put all the colors on that you want, and you can also do this with a Sharpie pen if you have Sharpies there. I just gave you highlighters. They're a little easier to clean up. And once you've gotten all your colors on, you would take some rubbing alcohol which is about $1 at the store, I think. I bought the one that with a spray bottle. You could put it in a spray bottle, or if you don't have that, you can just take your rubbing alcohol, put it on a paper towel, and then just dab your mask. You just want to make sure that your mask is completely damp and kind of wet. So you spray it all over until it's a little bit wet. And then let it dry overnight. Actually, you probably could let it dry for 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, but overnight it would set the color in really well. And then you take off your rubber bands, and you'll probably want to rinse it off with some cold water just so you're not smelling the rubbing alcohol. And when you undo it, ta-da! You'll have a tie-dye mask. This one's not complete yet, sorry. This is what it looks like. I made one before. And then you should be able to wash this all as many times as you need to whenever you wash your masks. And if you want, you could even put that in your neighbor bag. Give them a new fun mask to wear too. All right, if you want to work on it, if you're already working on that, I'm just going to read one story for you, and before we go, and then you can continue to work on your crafts after we're done. All right, I think I always have a backup book. This is a great book. I think this would have been good to read. I don't think we have time right now, but it's called Ordinary Mary's Positively Extraordinary Day by Emily Pearson. I highly recommend that. She picked some flowers and gave it to one friend who just needed a little kind word, and then that person did something nice for the next person in her class, who then did something nice for her teacher, and it just kept going on and going on until there were lots of people that felt good that day. But since we're talking about neighborhoods, I think we'll read this story here. It's called Say Hello by Rachel Isadora. And by the time we're done with this book, you'll be able to say hello in 10 different languages. Does anybody here speak 10 languages? No, I don't. I kind of maybe do too, but we can say hello in 10 languages. Okay? Actually, if you want to say it along with me, you're welcome to do that. This is Carmelita, and Carmelita gets up early in the morning and helps her mom make their favorite breakfast, huevos con tocino. Now, obviously, I don't speak Spanish. Today, we visit Abuela Rosa, Mama says. So after breakfast, Carmelita hurries and gets dressed and then gets her dog, Manny. They walk all the way down 9th Street. Buenos dias, Senora Enrico calls. Buenos dias. Can you say that too? Buenos dias. At the next store, they meet Mrs. Rosen and her children. Shalom, they said in Hebrew. Can you say shalom? Shalom. They stop in at the Japanese restaurant to say hello. Konnichiwa means hello in Japan. Konnichiwa. Down the street, they meet Joseph and his parents, who have just come back from Kenya, which is in Africa. And they say Jumbo to say hello. I like that one. Jumbo. They pass by a bakery, and Carmelita stops to look in the window. Let's go inside and get some cookies, her mama says. And this is a French bakery. It's a patisserie. And she says, I bet, does anybody know what you say in French to say hello? Bonjour. That's right. Bonjour. Next, they stop at the Arabic bakery, or I'm sorry, not bakery, it's a butcher shop. And they say hello by saying Assalamu alaikum, which is pretty long. Want to try that one? Assalam alaikum.
Allah.
Assalam alaikum. Next door is the pizza shop, and he says, ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
And then they stop and meet their neighbor who is from China. And in Mandarin, you say ni hao to say hello. Ni hao. And in the park, Carmelita meets her friends Max and Angel, and they say, hey, yo, what's up? You're one smart Snoop Dogg, Angel says. When they turn the corner, Abuela Rosa is waiting for them. Hola, hola, she says. So now you are able to say 10 different hellos in 10 languages. Shalom in Hebrew, ni hao in Chinese, konnichiwa, Japanese, jumbo in Swahili, hola in Spanish, ciao in Italian, buenos dias in Spanish, bonjour in French, and in Arabic, assalamu alaikum. Good job. How you doing, Kennedy?
I did my bag.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I
And
drew
since
stuff on the thing. I did these things.
you made your door hangers, okay,
I used one of my Valentines.
from school Valentine's.
I'm gonna do this with my mom in a little bit.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna put this in, and my mom said when we go out today, we're gonna buy some things to put in it.
That's all right. Awesome. Do you have somebody that you're gonna leave? You know where you're gonna leave it?
Yeah, our neighbor Nancy.
That's awesome. Well, let me know if she likes it. I bet she will. She'll be so happy to see your Valentine's. Does anybody else have any things that they want to show off? I didn't make mine yet, but I do have some stickers here. I went to visit my mom. She gave me stickers.
I saw some other people had some stickers earlier too.
Awesome. I should have
I'm
put
gonna
stickers
draw
in
for
the
the-
bag.
I'm going to draw for the prize, I think.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I just wanted to know if anybody else could tell me how many people are watching today for our statistics. I got Kim and the Moores. Kennedy, is it just you and your mom that are watching today? Kennedy?
And she's taken us to Smiley's. That's what I heard.
Yeah. All right, I got Mike. And Amy with an IE. Amy with an IE. Can you guys hold up your fingers? Is it just you two kids or do you have a grown up there too?
Yeah, it's just us two kids.
Just us two kids. Okay.
Mhm.
All
I
right.
heard Amy earlier.
I'm going to draw for the fabulous prize, which you can pick up at the children's desk of the Massillon Public Library. I put everybody's screen name in here, so it'll be one prize for your whole family or whatever, whoever you're watching with. And it is Kennedy.
Yay!
It's Amy Knapp, Kennedy.
Congrats. All right. Well, before we go, I did want to read something that Mr. Rogers said. Well, he just says it. And maybe you can say it with me, okay? He would say, you are important, you are valuable, and you are enough just as you are. So what if we said it about ourselves? If we say, I am important. Can you say it with me? I am important.
I am important.
I am valuable.
I
I am
am valuable.
Valuable.
I am enough,
I am
I am
enough,
enough.
just as I am.
just as I am.
All right, well, you made this day a special day, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that you joined me on Saturday morning, and really, I love seeing you guys. We miss seeing you at the library all the time. And you too.
Kennedy wanted to tell you guys that she's been on Mr. Rogers' trolley and gone to the land of make believe.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Well, see, I'm from Western PA, so he's kind of a big deal there.
Yeah,
And
he's from-
there's Idlewild, which is right outside where he grew up, and
Yeah.
they have a Mr. Rogers ride. When I was younger, it was Mr. Rogers. We went to the Land of Make Believe. Now, in the last couple of years, since Daniel Tiger got big, it's more geared
Daniel
towards the Daniel
Tiger.
Tiger
David.
Boo
Car-
Daniel Tiger.
cartoon characters.
I was gonna
Funny
say,
she
what
says
is
that,
that
'cause it
face,
was her-
Kennedy?
That was her favorite for a very long time. But
Now
yeah,
she's
we-
outgrown
we
Daniel.
love it there. Huh.
That's cool. That's really cool. I always wanted to go on that trolley. It would go through a little tunnel, and I always wanted to do that. Why don't we watch this?
You'll have to take a trip to Idlewild and Ligonier. It's
That's
about
a good idea.
maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, right down 30. And it's a cool park, huh? Lots of rides,
Amusement park.
fairy tale land. So there's all these storybooks you walk through, and you're in different storybooks and stuff. It's pretty cool. So
Sounds
I'm
like
gonna
something the library people would love.
Yeah, maybe we should take a road trip. Y'all can come with us. Bye. I'll see you later.